Jessie here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. For today's video, we are going to be writing out my paycheck budget for the second week in November. We're going to do my cash envelope stuffing. So I'm pretty excited. Last week was a really good week. This week promises to be a really good week. So let's just go ahead and get started. If this is your first time watching, I would love it if you would click that red subscribe button so you can come back and check out all of my videos. I post new budgeting and lifestyle content here on my channel every single week. Yeah, let's go. Let's get this done. Okay, so the paycheck date is, let's take a look here at my calendar. Paycheck date is November 9th. So we are working with my husband's second paycheck in November. We are also working with money that we rolled over from last week. When we took care of our budget, anything that we kind of had left, we rolled over into this week. We've got some sinking fund money we are going to pull in to use this week. Lots of different places we pull money from. So when I write in the total here in this income box, don't think that that's the total of my husband's paycheck for the week. It isn't. We actually just took a portion of my husband's paycheck to budget with this week, plus money from those other sources I already mentioned. Also, if we have any miscellaneous income, that gets thrown in here. So yeah, the way that I kind of worked around having a total like starting balance without disclosing my husband's income is to do it that way. I just kind of lumped all of the money we're going to be working with this week into one bucket, and that is the amount that you're going to see here for the total. So that amount is actually $900 is the amount that we are working with this week, and I'm going to talk you through the plan on how we intend to spend that $900. So I'm using a paycheck budget worksheet from my Etsy shop. If you're interested in getting a paycheck budget worksheet like this, I do have my shop linked down below, as well as a coupon code you can use. It's a $2 printable if you want just the paycheck budget worksheet. I do have budget bundles available as well, where you can buy multiple worksheets at a discounted price. But I also have that coupon code that's just for my YouTube friends here to use. So make sure you take advantage of that if you're interested in this worksheet. The way that I use the worksheet is we start out with the income, and the total is $900. And now this second section here is where we're going to start writing in anything that's going to be paid directly from my checking account. I do a lot of my budgeting in cash, which you will see when we move down here to cash envelopes, but there's some things that I either can't use cash for, maybe they're automatic payments that come out of my checking account, that sort of thing, or things that I don't want to use cash for. All of that gets put here under checking. And the main thing that we are focusing on with this checking section this week are my bills for the week. So the bills that fall within the second pay period. So I have quite a few bills that are going to need to be paid this week, so I'm going to go ahead and write those in. First one is SipSpy. This is actually a subscription. I do have a sinking fund for subscriptions, and so the amount of money that I would have pulled from those sinking funds is actually added here into this total. The amount that SipSpy costs is, I have it written down here somewhere, I believe it's $16? Yes, should be $16. So that is what I'm going to budget. If you're not familiar with SipSpy, it is a tea subscription. You get to try 4 different varieties of tea. They come in the box every month. You pay $16. I do have my SipSpy link down below. If you sign up for SipSpy with my link, you can get, I think it's $5 off your first box. So it's just a fun tea subscription. If you've seen any of my vlog videos, you know that I'm totally obsessed with tea. I love tea. So that is coming out of the budget this week. We also have, I probably should like earmark this, DTE. Actually, you know what? Let's just pull this right on out. That's the beauty of this disc bound system. So we have DTE. That is my electric bill. We are on a budget plan with DTE, so we pay the same amount every single month. Whether we're using a ton of electricity or just a little, they kind of averaged out our usage, and we pay that amount each month, and that amount is $193. So that's what I will budget. We also have Michigan Gas, which is our gas bill, and that's the same type of scenario. They give us a budgeted amount that we pay every single month, regardless of usage, and that amount is, I just gotta check my cheat sheet here again, $42. So that's that. The only other thing I have here on my list for bills for the week is HBO Max, which is a TV streaming service subscription. So that amount is due this week, and it is $16 as well. So that's everything on my list. The only other thing I need to add in here under this checking section is some money I'm going to need to pull out to pay for my son's indoor soccer league. It was actually written on last week's budget, but the league does not start until this week. I got the dates mixed up in my head, so it didn't need to come out last week, but it will need to come out this week. So I'm just going to write in soccer here. And the amount we budgeted for that was $60. I'm also going to go ahead and write in an unbudgeted line item. We did have an unbudgeted expense last week. I'm hoping that we won't have any more unbudgeted expenses, but I want to have a little place for it. So it's unbudgeted, so we're not going to budget anything for it, but that'll just give me a place to write in if we have any unbudgeted expenses. So I need to go ahead then and add these up. So we have 16 plus 193 plus 42 plus 16 plus 60 for a grand total of $327 that's going to stay in my checking account to cover all of these expenses. And of course, I do have a little buffer in my account as well, though it's not quite as big as it used to be, because I did do some shopping and I used some of the excess that I had in my buffer to do that. So that takes care of that. Next, we're going to move on to my cash envelopes. So cash envelopes are essentially the variable expenses that I like to use cash for because it helps keep my spending in check. Anytime that I have to say goodbye to cash versus just swiping a card, I do better when it comes to that sort of thing if I have it in cash. I spend less. It hurts more to have to spend the cash. And even when what I've been doing lately is I've been putting the cash into my cash envelope, but then still using my card, and then just taking the cash from the envelope and moving it to a different envelope to deposit into the bank to cover that transaction. I've been doing that a lot just, to get the rewards and things, but still I spend less knowing that that cash is going to get moved from, the food envelope to the deposit envelope. It's like a mind trick. I don't know. You might think it's silly for me to go ahead and pull the cash if I'm not going to spend the cash, but it gets it out of the account, so it makes it doesn't seem like I have more money than I actually do when I'm looking at my checking account balance and that sort of thing. And like I said, just the act of having that cash and knowing I'm going to have to say goodbye to it. It's some kind of mental block. When you swipe your card or whatever, it doesn't seem as tangible, as real as when you have to handle the cash. At least that's the case for me. Maybe I'm just weird, but I continue to do cash this way because it makes me spend less. Truly. All right, so the cash categories that I have are food. And I'm going to write these in a little bit of a different order than I typically do just for the sake of organization. I have my spending. Then we have gas. I have miscellaneous. Then I have my husband's spending and my son's allowance. And I just wrote these in a little bit of a different order, just so that when I'm stuffing my cash envelopes, it's a little bit easier, because these envelopes are the envelopes that are in my wallet, and I obviously don't hold on to my husband's money or my son's money. I give that to them. So for food, we are budgeting $200 this week. That's how much cash I'm going to pull out of the bank and add to my cash envelope. My cash envelope is already starting out with some cash in it, so we roll over any money that we have left over week to week. And that works out really well for me. So my spending money, I'm going to get 40. For gas, we're going to do 40. For miscellaneous, we're going to do 20. For Eric, we're going to do 40. For Austin, we're actually going to do 20 this week. Usually we do 10, but I've got some extra things that I need him to do around the house, and so I'm going to pay him a little bit extra. Plus, it just made it really easy to do cash this week. I just pulled everything out in 20s. I just went through the ATM, so that worked out really well. So the amount then for cash envelopes, 200 plus 40 plus 40 plus 20 plus 40 plus 20 is $360. Next up, we have sinking funds, but you know, if you've been watching my channel this month, that we actually are going to do sinking funds a little bit differently this month, and I'm not going to fill my sinking fund envelopes every week. I'm going to wait until the end of the month and do it just once. So I've already kind of set aside some money for sinking funds this week, and you guys will see how much total I have set aside for sinking funds when I stuff all of my sinking funds at the end of November. So the total then for this is going to be 0. And then we have extra debt, and you guys know, again, if you've been watching my videos this month, that we are currently working on our Chase card. And I aim to send $170 every week in November to that Chase card in order to meet my goal of paying $850 towards my Chase card in November. So that is the plan for that. So it's pretty run-of-the-mill basic budget. My paycheck budgets each week tend to be pretty repetitive. You know, we just pay the bills that are due that week, and then we set aside the cash and the extra debt. And it's not necessarily a bad thing that it's repetitive. Maybe it doesn't make for a super interesting video for you guys, but, you know, repeating things that work over and over again is how you meet your goals, right? So let's go ahead and fill in this total section. So the income amount that we were working with for this budget was $900. For checking, we spent $327, or we budgeted $327 rather. For cash envelopes, we budgeted $360. For sinking funds, we budgeted nothing. And for extra debt, we budgeted $170. So what I will do then is I will take that starting balance of $900. We'll subtract out the $327 for checking, the $360 for cash envelopes, and the $170 for extra debt. And that's going to leave us with a whopping $43 to roll over into next week, which isn't a lot, but every penny counts and every little bit does add up. So that's what I will put under the savings section, is just that $43 that we're going to save until we need to use it next week. So that's the budget. Typically then the next step in the budget would be to fill in my cash breakdown. But I really don't even need to do that this week, because the only cash I need to pull is this $360, and I've kind of decided that to make it easy on myself, I was just going to pull it all out in 20s. And I've actually already done that, so I should have $360 here. I'm just going to kind of count it up, and then we're going to stuff these cash envelopes. So let's go ahead and count this up and make sure that we do in fact have $360. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 200, 20, 40, 60, 80, 300, 20, 40, 60. All right, so it makes it super easy peasy. I'm just going to go ahead and pull in my wallet here, which is a conscious wallet. This is where I keep all of my cash envelopes. Unfortunately, these do not seem to be available anymore, but if you go on to Amazon and you just search cash envelope wallet, there's a ton of systems like this where you get the envelopes, you get the wallet, and you get little tracking sheets, so everything you need to get started if you are interested in starting out a cash budget. So inside my conscious wallet, I have all of my cash envelopes, which were made by my friend Jennifer over at Life in Envelopes. I will link her Etsy shop down below, but I don't know if she's even selling envelopes right now. I know she has really great stickers though, so I will link her shop down below. So let's go ahead and organize this a little bit. I've got all my cash, I've got my envelopes, and we know we're going to do all 20s, so let's just go ahead and go down the list. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and fill in my weekly check-in with the starting balances so that I have that information kind of ready to go for next week. So for week 2, the categories in my wallet are food, my spending money, gas, and miscellaneous. And the starting balance is just going to be the ending balance for last week, right? So I totally forgot that I had a negative balance for my spending money, and I technically only should have pulled out $38, but I forgot. So we're just gonna roll with it and not worry too much about the negative number. It's only $2. I'll pull that out of my buffer. No big deal. So our starting balance is then, we'll do it this way. 70 for food. We'll say 0 for Jessie. Gas is starting out with $5 and miscellaneous is starting out with $38. And we are going to go ahead and add more money today. So for food, we started with a balance of 70 and we said we're adding 200 this week. So then all I need to do is fill out at the end of the week how much we spent, and that'll give me my remaining balance for next week. So we're going to add 200, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, $200. So we're going to add that to the 70 that's already in here, right? 20, 40, 60, 70. And that should give us a total of 270. So 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, 60, 70. So that is how much I have to spend on food for the week. All right, moving on to my spending. You guys already know I spent $2 more than I should have, so we are starting my envelope out with nothing. And we said we were going to add $40, so I'll just go ahead and write that in. We will add $20, $40 to my envelope. It goes much quicker this way. Okay, so for gasoline, we started out with $5, which I do have here, and we're going to add 40 more, 20, 40, for a total of 45, which is good. I have a full tank now, but we got quite a bit of running around to do this week, so I probably will need to fill up again by the end of the week. We'll see. And then lastly, I have miscellaneous. My miscellaneous envelope is starting out with $38, and we're going to add 20 more. So go ahead and write that we added 20, and that is going to take care of my weekly check-in. So I'll go ahead and set this off to the side. And let's just make sure that we have that 38 plus 20, $58. That's a lot of money for miscellaneous. 20, 40, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58. So that is perfect. That takes care of everything that is in my wallet. I can go ahead and zip this up and go ahead and write in that we did add 200 to food, we did add 40 to Jesse, and 40 to gas, and 20 to miscellaneous. So then the only thing we have left should be $60, 20, 40, 60, 40 for my husband, 20 for Austin. I'll just set this off to the side then to give to them. And that took care of my cash envelopes for the week. Super, super quick and easy. And that is my video for the week. So I managed to knock that out in just about 20 minutes. Not too shabby. I apologize if you like the longer videos, but of course, since we're not adding money to our sinking funds every week now, that does make this process quite a bit shorter. So that's it, friends. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. That really helps me out, as I mentioned. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!